Hey everybody, Justin White here, and you're about to listen to episode 10 of Power Forward. Our guest is Anthony Casa, chairman of AIME, or the Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. Anthony walked away from a highly successful business to help thousands of entrepreneurs find success of their own. He'll tell you why he did it and explain how leaders can help their team achieve results they never thought were possible. Anthony has a fascinating personal story. He dropped out of school in the 8th grade and started working full-time. He's also the son of a former professional boxer. You'll find out how Anthony was shaped by his upbringing and how a lesson he learned from his prize-fighting father has fueled his success in business. We also get into building a successful company, including Anthony's thoughts on how leaders can earn loyalty from their team, the most important person you can hire if you're starting a business, and how to deal with your critics. All that and more with Anthony Casa right now on Power Forward. The primary purpose of this podcast series is to inform, entertain, and educate. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast series do not constitute legal or other professional advice, opinions, or endorsements of any kind.
This is Power Forward.
Okay, welcome back to Power Forward. Justin White alongside Mateen Cleaves. Mateen, what's going on, my friend?
Oh, man, just living a dream, Jay White. Don't wake me up.
Well, speaking of waking up, I got up early this morning because of our guest today. I got up at 4:30 this morning.
Oh, wow.
Went out, got a run in, felt really good about myself. And then I realized that our guest today, for him, 4:30 is like sleeping in. Our guest today is Anthony Casa. He is the chairman of AIME, also known as the Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. Anthony, welcome to Power Forward.
I'm really grateful to be here. I'm a big fan. I've watched or listened to all the episodes so far, so I'm excited to be part of it.
All right, so just to confirm, what time did you actually wake up today? Because I know you are a really, really early riser.
Only because I didn't get in on my flight till 1. I woke up at 4:30.
Oh, wow.
But generally speaking, I'm up like 2:45.
This guy is a machine, man. He's
I
a
mean,
machine.
2:45. I mean,
I know people ask me, like, what do you do at that early in the morning? I'm like, you have no idea how I have get 300 to 400 inbound communications from brokers from all over the country every day. So I could just respond to them into perpetuity, that alone, if like forever. Like it would just be a never ending thing. But, I record videos and I send them to different brokers across the country. I get all my email communications out. So it's really my time to myself. And then obviously once my team gets in from AIME, that's when it's their time, I spend the rest of the day with them.
well, you don't just wake up, no pun intended, and have the ability to get up that early and get yourself going and get your day going that early. How are you wired in a way that you're able to do that and be that energized and be getting stuff done in the, I won't even call it the wee hours of the morning, because quite honestly, it's the middle of the night still.
Yeah, it is. I would say this. It's something I used to not embrace, but I embrace now fully. But I was always just one of those people where I just have a ton of nervous energy, where like we would go, me and my family would go on a vacation to the beach, and I would last maybe an hour. Like I couldn't sit on the beach. I just couldn't relax. So I was just somebody that I'm just very busy minded. I'm always thinking about different things, and I'm just a busy-minded person, so I don't know if it's just the way I'm wired or what it is, but I've always been that way.
What is it? Like, did anybody instill work ethic in you at an early age?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely work ethic. It's transition because I 100%, I started working when I was 13 years old, full-time. Dropped out of school in the 8th grade. Because my dad had a stroke and I was kind of the next person in the family to help, provide for my family. So I went to work full time at that point. So I've been working 60, 70 hours a week for basically my entire life. 13 years old is when I started working like that.
Man.
But, it's no longer work for me. Like there's been this transition and people always give me stuff, work-life balance, you got to relax and all that stuff. But to me, it's just all the same thing. This is what I actually enjoy doing. So it's like, it's not work for me. I actually like going to the office. Like on a Sunday, I'll tell myself, I'm not going to work today. I'm going to stay home. there's no chance. Like there's no like I'm gonna one way or another I'm gonna make it to the office. So it's just it's what I love doing. I'm grateful that I found something I love doing because I know so many people that don't like what they do every day. So I'm fortunate.
What is it about this career, this business that really appeals to you? Because obviously you have a great passion for it.
Yeah, it's interesting because at my brokerage, Garden State Home Loans, up until I left it at the end of last year, everybody always thought like this guy's going to die at Garden State Home Loans. Like he'll never sell it. He's always going to be here. And then I found what I'm doing now, and I have a great passion for this. I think it's just one of those things where I enjoy people. I think that's the biggest thing is like realistically, one of my greatest fulfillment things I do is like being able to like meet somebody that today doesn't do what they're doing. I help them make this their living, and I help them build confidence, encourage them, get them to the point where they start to like not only do their job well, but like really start to be this leading force. And I've had the fortune of doing that over the last 8 years of my business. I had my processors that came to work for me, no experience, and I watched them get married, have kids, buy a home, like do the whole thing, and like being able to be like part of that process is amazing. So, I really think I'm just a people person. Like I'm just somebody that likes to enjoy seeing people succeed and like contributing to their success. I hate to call it like coaching because that's like the popular thing these days, but like truthfully, that's what my skill set is I'm truly going to be some of those people that knows how to motivate people.
You left a successful business. What's up with that?
Well, it's because I get that all the time, and I think it's interesting because it was hard initially. It was really hard, but for me, it wasn't even betting on myself. It's like I felt like I had kind of reached my maximum potential there when it comes to from hey, yeah, we're making a lot of money, we're closing a lot of loans, but I want to touch more people. I want to impact more people. I want to have a much bigger impact than just being the top broker in New Jersey or the top broker in the country. So, when I looked at this opportunity with AIME and even, when it started out with Brawl, I saw every time I touched a broker, I was like, man, like I could help these people. Like, they need this encouragement. They need this leadership. They need somebody to help them build confidence in themselves and their businesses. And it's been an interesting, 18 months because you talk to a lot of brokers that I've been in touch with, and you'll hear people tell you definitively, like, I never would have took that risk. I never would have done that. I never would have had the confidence in myself. So, sometimes people just need that person that believes in them for them to believe in themselves. And I think that's one of my biggest skills is the fact that like I can help bring the best out of you, and it's something I pride myself on. I literally always have gone through my life and said, I know what you see your ceiling as, and I'm going to get you you're going to be way further than that. But I'm not going to tell you that that's the game plan now. I'm going to make sure I encourage you. I'm going to push you every day. I'm going to get you out of your comfort zone. I'm going to get you to the point where you have the confidence in yourself to go for that, next North Star. So, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
But you have to build some credibility to have people buy in and believe what you're telling them, right? So how do you establish that with people, with your audience and the people that follow you and really look up to you? How do you establish yourself as somebody that they really believe in and establish that credibility from the start?
Well, I've had the same formula for almost the last 10 years. And to me, it comes down to this is in order for people to believe in you, like truly be loyal, believe in you, be willing to run through a wall for you, they have to clear a couple boundaries, a couple hurdles. And number one is you have to talk the talk, okay? You have to walk the walk, I'm sorry. So, you can't just say, hey, go do this, go do that. You have to actually every day be waking up and working your butt off. So everybody knows how hard I work. Like anybody that's in my life, they know because I'm reaching out to them at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sending them emails. I'm always in the office. I'm always working for them and with them. But the next thing is, to build trust, it really comes down to this. Number one, you have to be reliable. When somebody comes to you and you are actually always there for them, whether it's just picking up a phone call when they need somebody to talk to at night because they had a bad day, or whether they have an issue that you stepped in and helped them resolve, if you're reliable, that's the first path to success, or trust. Then you're consistent. If you every single time they come to you, you're always there, you're always working, you're always doing your thing, you're very consistent. So you're reliable and you're consistent. If you can do those two things and deliver results, meaning help people grow, help support them in their growth, then they're going to trust you. And if you can, get to that point, and again, it's taken me 18 months to get to this point with a lot of brokers. There's some that were early adopters and early supporters. But at this point, I have a very large network of brokers that I'm constantly in communication with, and we have this trust because they know it's not a facade. They know it's not, hey, Anthony is doing this for some false reason. It's all about, in my sense, it's all about us, and when I say us, it's, the brokers and me and what we're trying to accomplish.
And you took an organization with AIME, basically what started right as a grassroots organization, and it has really just exploded. There's people all over the country that are really passionate about this cause now. When it comes to doing that and that process, taking something from grassroots and really building it up, what do you think have been the biggest keys?
I think first and foremost, I would tell you that authenticity is number one. So, I've been very consistent in not being willing to, turn a blind eye to anything. If you're a lender that would want to be a sponsor of AIME, but you don't exactly do the things that help support brokers, we're not going to take your money. You're not going to be a sponsor. So I do think that matters. I think, being able to be in a situation where brokers can look at me and say, he's 100%, biased to us, and he's not willing to be, nobody can buy him. And then more than anything, I do think it's what are the results? What are your actions telling us? Are you truly all in this for us, or is this about your brand? And I think, in my messaging and everything I've done, I actually kind of have had a maturation because early on, I would get with my team at AIME and they would tell me, oh, well, we got to record this video and it has to be polished and it has to be cleaned up. And, I'm not exactly somebody that's in front of cameras, so I would never be comfortable. So I would do these videos and it would be like, I would just, the message would not be authentic. So I just said, I'm going to get these people out of the way and I'm just going to, send videos to some brokers all over the country based upon what I'm feeling at that minute and how I can help them. And, that's helped me have that connection because it's unfiltered, it's authentic, and it's real.
And you said something that caught my attention, and I think it's very important, and I hope our listeners were paying attention. You said you can't be bought. In today's world, like a lot of people, I was always told all money ain't good money. I was told that at an early age. And talk about the importance of not being able to be bought and surrounding yourself around good people first.
It's definitely something that I've had an evolution. It's not who I always was. I will tell you that. I went through a period of time I got in the mortgage business when I was 18.
Okay.
Came from really, really, poor upbringing. My whole entire family's net income for a year was never more than $17,000. So we never made a lot of money. 5 kids, the whole, 7 family of 7. But when I got in the mortgage business, I saw this opportunity with money, and I always kind of was monetarily driven. Even though I didn't necessarily have like fancy cars or doing that stuff, it was all about hey, I just want to make more and more money because I came from nothing. But then I hit a point where I kind of, I don't want to say I hit all my goals, but in 1 year I really did hit all my goals. And it was really kind of like, okay, I made all this money, I saved all this money. And I remember kind of like looking inward and just kind of thinking about it and saying like, this is what, are you happy? Is this really what your drive is for? And that's, it's kind of an interesting moment in my life because that's when I completely changed who I was and my focus. It was no longer like, hey, I'm going to focus on money. I'm not going to be monetarily driven. I'm going to be purpose driven, and I'm going to focus on, how can I make people better? And you hear Matt say it all the time, and I love it when he says it. He says, money follows success.
Yeah.
Focus on success. So for me, I'm focused on success, but I'm also focused on helping people because we're at a unique time in history where the whole world is trying to focus on streamlining jobs and eliminating people and technology this, technology that. And my whole thing is I don't believe in that actually. I actually think that if we spent the same amount of time focused on investing in technology that we do in people, they would outperform technology all day long, and it would be personalized, and the customer experience would be better, and the relationships would be better, and the companies would be stronger.
Well, we know that you are not afraid of a fight. We know that you have a passion for your cause, and we also know that you have your adversaries that are out there. Speaking of which, fighting runs in the family because your dad, this is crazy. When I saw this, I couldn't believe it. Your dad is Jimmy Casa, who fought Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta. Not only did he fight him, he went the distance with him at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's interesting story.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. So people listening might say, well, how old is Anthony? If that was that. So my dad, it was his second marriage. He had me when he was pretty late in life, 64 years old. Obviously, my mom was younger than him. So, my dad lived a great life. World War II veteran, professional boxer, entrepreneur. Ups and downs the whole night. And the version of my dad that I got was, it was at the end of it, he was 60, when I was getting the experience, he was in his 70s. So I got a lot of great stories. I remember growing up thinking like, oh, it stinks. My dad, I can't play catch with him. I can't do the things that all my friends and their dads do. But the life lessons that I was able to get from him were just, I can't even put in perspective. Just somebody that really taught me how to communicate, how to listen, how to be, a hard worker, how to, just put your blinders on and focus. I mean, that was one of the biggest things that he always said to me. It was like, the life is full of distractions, whether, distractions can be anything. And, he really helped me focus. And that's the one skill that I would say has been probably the biggest contributor to my success is I'm somebody that can't be distracted. Like, I don't watch sports. I don't play fantasy football. I don't do anything other than the things that I want to be doing, which is my family and work. And that's why, I've always had so much success. But yeah, my dad was a great guy, professional boxer, and just total legend of a human being.
That's crazy. Like, wow. I mean, and you talked about focus. And it's funny because I was looking at your Instagram. I was stalking your Instagram, and you had Jimmy Iovine on there, and he was talking about how they put blinders on these horses, so when they're racing, they can't be detracted. They stay focused on the task at hand. And are you a big Jimmy Iovine fan? Or
I was after I saw that. So
did you watch the documentary?
I watched the documentary. It's actually one of my favorite documentaries. I've probably watched it 100 times. That's exactly right. It's like, one of the things that, when people talk about Steve Jobs, they talk about a lot of different things. But the one thing that I picked up about Steve Jobs, I watched a video of somebody that worked for him, and they talked about his focus. And basically one of the things that he excelled at was like his ability to sit there and say, hey, we're working on this right now. And there might be another idea that comes up that is a multi-billion-dollar idea. That it might be a game changer over here. But we need to be so focused on what we're already working on that we're willing to say no to this other idea because we can't get distracted. If we get distracted from this and now we're putting 50% into two ideas, we're never going to make it great. And that's kind of something I've lived my life by, it's hard because there's a lot of sacrifices that go with that. But, at Garden State Home Loans, that was a dilemma that I had. Was I was sitting here and, I started Brawl. Brawl became this huge movement. All these brokers are supporting the effort, built a lot of great relationships, and I'm putting 50% in on Garden State Home Loans, and I'm putting 50% in on Brawl, and the results were okay, but they weren't if I was 100% focused on one or the other. So, I had to make a decision. Where do I want to focus? Where do I want to spend my time? And what is going to be most impactful? And it was clearly, focusing on brokers.
That's, when I was recruited out of high school. I know you're not a big sports guy, but I was recruited out of sports in high school to play both sports, football and basketball. And that what was told to me, you got to choose one, especially on this level, because you'll probably be good at both, but you never be great at one or the other. So I chose to play basketball, and it worked out for me. So I totally get where you were going with that.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
I'm sure you get asked, for a lot of advice, from other leaders out there in business, how to have success or, how you go about things. So what are the biggest focal points for you would say, big picture, in terms of the way you approach being in business?
I think, it's funny because I do get asked a lot, and I talk to a lot of different people that run mortgage companies, big mortgage companies, like the lenders that brokers work with, and they ask me those kind of questions. And the funny thing is, it's like the answers are not going to be things that, like, if you're building a business, that you're going to think are the things. The things that matter are, to me, if I was going to start a company tomorrow, my number one person that I would be focused on is my person that's going to help me build my culture. So, like, whether it's a human resources leader or just a culture-focused person, that is so critical to the success of the company, because At the end of the day, in order for me to be successful at the level that I want to be successful, I need everybody to believe in what we're doing. And you need to have the commitment from the point of interview. Are you going to be somebody that's going to come here? Is this going to be a job? Are you going to be on Facebook all day? Or are you going to be focused on helping us fulfill our mission? So number one, I would say focusing on people and culture. Number two, I would say is definitively being consistent with the way you message things. And a lot of people will say, well, I was one company in particular, they told me about this whole situation they had where they sent an email blast out to brokers about this new initiative that they just announced. And all their internal people were, up in arms because they didn't know about it. So they messaged it out to brokers that they're doing. Then when the brokers called in their AEs and stuff, they had no idea about it. And I try to make them understand, like, communication needs to be amazing throughout the organization. Your customer needs to get communicated to. Your employees need to be communicated to. Everybody needs to be on the same page. It's so important. So for me, it's people, it's communication, and the last thing is identifying what your goals are up front, because goals do change. But at the end of the day, if you don't have any goals, if you don't have any idea of what you're trying to accomplish, it really is tough to get people to show up early. It's to get people inspired. If they're just sitting there saying, hey, we're just trying to do more, okay, great, we're trying to do more, but like, what are we striving for? It's, am I inspired to do more, or am I inspired because the whole team is focused on achieving this goal? And I think you guys have seen here at UWM, it's like, I come here and my people, when I send them out here, they always say, they're like, what do they put in the coffee at UWM? But they don't put anything in the coffee. It starts with Matt. It starts at the top. It's part of, it's who he is. It's not fake. And I tell people all the time, it's like, the guy is real, and
Yes.
his mission and the way he thinks about things and the way he treats people. I've never seen anybody that really, is that good at so many different things.
And you talked about, and I'm taking notes here. I'm telling you, Anthony, I'm locked in. You mentioned people, communication, being consistent, and goals. And I think the people are the foundation. I mean, you build a house, you got to have a foundation. And if the foundation is not right, it's not going to work. And you mentioned goals, because what I've noticed with some people, they're afraid to set goals, and they don't set goals because they're afraid they won't hit the goal. So in that situation, say you set a goal and your team doesn't hit it. What's the process from there?
Well, I think you evaluate why you didn't hit it, and it shouldn't be a surprise that you didn't hit a goal. Like, to me, it's the goal is one piece of the puzzle. It's really the process that you're going about to get to the goal. So, we talked about a lot at Garden State Home Loans. Hey, we want to do this many more loans. Okay, well, how are we going to do it? We're going to increase the number of calls our salespeople are making. We're going to buy more leads. We're going to hire assistants. We're going to send out requests for referrals from past clients. Like, we put an entire strategy in place. And as we went along and we start to see the results of it, we would be able to say, oh, wait, the results aren't what we thought, so we're not going to hit our goal. We either have to change directions or add, a different way to generate business. But it's a process, and there should be full transparency about everything in that process, and also full transparency and accountability with, who's doing what. It's healthy for people to understand if, a group or a team is pulling more weight than others, so that everybody understands, like, we have to, make up for that. We have to do more. But, to your point, I think, goals are important. But if you don't have the ability to understand that, like, sometimes you're going to miss goals, sometimes you're not going to win the championship every time. And I love sitting down in meetings with our team and talking about, like, when we missed a goal, because you could really, you see it in people's faces. Do they care? Are they emotionally tied to it like I am? And, what you learned is that they were all, like, everybody was bought in. And when we missed a goal, it was like, oh yeah, this really does stink. We don't want to feel like this again. But having those conversations during good and bad is really, really important.
And that's where the passion comes in, right? Whether it's a cause or a goal that you're chasing after. I mean, I get young people sometimes will ask me about the television industry, right? I used to work in TV, and they'll ask me about getting into TV and what does it take. And the first thing I always tell them is you got to be 100% in. You got to be passionate for it, because guess what? If you're not, there's 100 other people out there who are, and they're going to get there before you do. In
That's
your
right.
business, when you're advising people, I mean, where does passion play into it?
It's funny because passion's important. It really is. But you don't need passion from everybody. You can have, like, I would always tell people, like, my people that were consistent and reliable, but not very, like, enthusiastic or passionate. They just, hey, listen, I'm going to come in every day. I'm going to give you an honest 40 every week, and I'm going to get my job done. You're always going to be able to count on me. And they might not be rah-rah. They might not have that passion or fire, but you need that. You need those people because, at the end of the day, those are foundational people. The people that are passionate, they help drive the organization. They help keep the spirit of everything going. But I think it's equally important to have both passion and the reliability. I think sometimes people get, caught up in, like, the mundane part of building things and, like, doing the hard work. And one of the things, like, I tell everybody now, it's like, I look back at all the businesses I've been involved in. Garden State Home Loans. I look at AIME as, it's a business, it's a startup. I love this part of the business. Like, I literally love the hard work. Like, I really do. The days where you're just sitting there and you're going through and you don't know if it's going to work out. Like, the days where you're discouraged, like, oh, horrible day. Why am I doing this? Da, da, da. All right, I'm going to do it again tomorrow. Like, I love that. I really, really do. When you reach the top or when you have the success and, like, you're starting to, like, not take it as serious. I don't know. I never enjoyed that part of it. I really enjoyed the building and like the being a part of a team and, like, really struggling to succeed and really not sure if you're going to succeed. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's fascinating.
I love it. I love it, Anthony. I tell you, because that's why you're having success. See, a lot of people, they're happy with the holding up the trophy.
Yeah.
You are wired a little different, man, to sit up here and say you love the hard work. Like, what athlete says, I love running sprints or I love lifting weights or, like, in business, or I love staying overtime and doing extra hours? I think you got to be wired a little different, man, with that approach.
You do, and it's not normal, and I don't expect people to be this way. And like, there's people tell me all the time, you got to live, you got all this stuff, and we'll see what happens with the rest of my life, but this is what I enjoy. Like, this is just the way I'm wired. Just like some people like Friday after work going and getting beers and hanging out with their buddies and playing whatever pool, and like, to me, I actually look forward to Mondays, and that's like my wife would always really give it to me hard, and she would tell me, like, like, Sunday at noon, you might as well not be here. You might as well just get out of the house, because you're pacing around the house. All you want to do is get to work, and, like, this is like my sport. Like, this is my thing that I get to do every day and, like, work at it. So it's, not everybody has that passion for it.
I like that mentality, but speak for yourself. I'll take my weekend.
Well, I love the fact that you mentioned that you don't watch sports, but we keep bringing it back to sports. And as you were talking about reliability being such a valuable asset, I was thinking about a football analogy. Think about an offensive line. It's not enough to have the star quarterback to complete a pass. You got to have that O-line that can protect the quarterback and keep him upright. So I think it's a great point. We keep bringing it back to sports, which obviously we love. Yeah. But I want to ask you about, as a leader, taking the hits. You go against the grain. You've taken on big banks in your role with AIME. And you are the focal point of your organization for both good and for bad. So as a leader, what does it take to put yourself in that position where you are going to take some of the hits along with the success?
Well, I think you have to be numb to any of it. Like, you have to be numb to the good and the bad. Like, if you're going to celebrate wins, if you're going to get down and out when you're losing, if you're going to let people's what they say or think about you impact your ability to execute on a day-to-day basis, you're not going to be a good leader. Like, you're just not. You have to be willing to take the criticism. You have to be willing to be so confident in what you're doing that it's right. And I've been on both sides of that. And unfortunately for most people, they don't understand strategy. So, like, a lot of the things are strategic, whether it's, calling out certain things, doing certain things, it's specifically, provocative because it's a strategy. But at the end of the day, for me, taking the criticism and taking, the feedback from all these people, it's just being able to keep my people focused. That's my main thing, is I can handle anything. Like, there's nothing I can't handle. but I want to make sure my people don't think differently, because they might not get it. They might get lost in, I saw these people on social media saying Anthony's this, that, and the other thing. So I have to keep them understanding the why behind everything. That's why communication is so important. But if you invest in your people, if they believe in you, then you can overcome all those things. That's why it's so important to make those investments, because if you don't, then when things are down, people leave. People will jump ship. And for me, I haven't had those issues at all.
Sounds like a head coach, right? Like taking the hits, like when somebody from the media maybe criticizes a player, and you can obviously relate to that with your playing experience.
Definitely. As a leader, you have to be able to take those hits. I remember, our coach, he would give us all the praise whenever we won. I mean, and he would get on us behind doors, but out in front of the media, he would take all the hits. And I think great leaders, that's a certain mentality that you have to have. And if you have that approach, I think your team members will appreciate you more and probably even go over and beyond for you.
I agree completely, and I think it's something that to this day, we've had hurdles when it comes to a bunch of different things that we've done over the last year. Whether whether expectations weren't there or whatever it was, it's to me, I'm the leader. It's on me. It's my obligation. If I don't deliver, then it's on me. And to me, I've been very clear in taking responsibility. But it's one thing to take responsibility. It's another to be able to reset expectations and to really keep your in my case, mortgage brokers. There's a lot of them. They're all over the country. They're hearing different things. They're hearing things from opposing views. And in order for me to consistently be the person that they believe in, that they know is their guy, I got to keep delivering new results. And that's my whole thing is I approach every day with such a sense of urgency, and that's why I wake up at the time I wake up, is because I know I have to deliver more results. I have to get more done for them. And luckily, we've been able to deliver results.
And you mentioned something about social media, because you said team members that, will read comments. And I mean, social media is a big part of our life right now. It is what it is. I always advise athletes, entertainers, whoever that's trying to make who's trying to succeed in life, not to pay attention to social media, good or bad. Right? Somebody tell you you're good, then you're too overconfident. Somebody say you're bad, then you lose confidence. Talk to me a little bit about this social media thing. Can it work for you if you use it the right way, or what is it about it?
Well, I think social media. I didn't have social media up until I started doing Brawl, basically. So, like when I was at Garden State Home Loans, I was too busy being at Garden State Home Loans to think about.
Too busy doing your job.
Yeah, doing my job, focusing on business. So I never got into it. But when I, started Brawl, it really turned into such a powerful mechanism to be able to talk to so many people and touch so many people, because every single time, for every like, that means 300 people are going to see that. So if you did a video talking about somebody's bad practices and somebody likes it, 300 people just saw it.
Yeah.
So, it's a very powerful platform. They're all very powerful platforms. And there's no doubt it's just going to continue to evolve, because that's where, younger people are gravitating to. But I think there is, an education. And it really comes down to using, I want to say common sense, but also not being lazy. And when I say not being lazy, it's I could go through my news feed and see any opinion about political people or mortgage people or anything. And if I just read the headline, if I just read what that one person says, and I take that as an informed opinion, and that's going to be my view, that's lazy. Make the investment, learn about what's really going on. And the funny thing that's happened is I've seen it go, full circle, is, I came out talking about what brokers are better and retail loan officers should become brokers and all that stuff. And I would have, retail LOs and people from, that side of the channel, come after me aggressively. And then as they kept following and watching and hearing success stories, all of a sudden these people would reach out to me and be like, hey, I know we had a little dust up a couple months ago, but I want to talk about it. So, to me, it's I just know that I need to be consistent. I need to make sure that everybody looks at things and isn't surface level, because so many people these days are surface level. Make the investment in learning the subject. If you really care about it, don't just take somebody's opinion and adopt it as your own. Learn about it.
So, lesson to be learned, if you're going to go on social media, don't just read the headline, actually read the article and make an informed decision before you jump to a conclusion. And also, by the way, what is that? They say don't press send. like think about it
yeah.
once you write it.
Yes.
I'm sure you've been there, right? Where you've been in an emotional situation, you've got a tweet or a Facebook post composed, and then maybe you have to take a step back for a second and rethink it.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree. You know, to me, I tell everybody there was a post by a broker on social media yesterday, and he was, you know, kind of showing a response that a customer had towards a request of the broker. It was very aggressive in nature, and he was kind of like, oh, I just want to tell this guy to go buzz off. And, you know, I told him, I said, take a deep breath, you know, sleep on it, but do what you have to do to keep the business. I mean, at the end of the day, it's, you know, customers can be difficult. People can be difficult. You know, that guy could be having a bad day. You know, take another look at it tomorrow. Don't be emotional. Don't be reactionary. So, you know, I have to take my own advice sometimes too.
Well, it's, we all do, I think. It's been great getting to have this conversation with you, getting to know more about your story and what makes you tick. I mean, like we said off the top of the show, you can't just wake up and have the ability to get up at 2:30 in the morning. But now you know, Mateen, if you send Anthony an email, he's going to respond to you at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, just know that when you wake up, whatever time you get up, that email is going to be in your inbox.
Oh, definitely. That'll be the key. And before we let you go, let me get this one last question in, because I got to ask this, because I remember going to college and everybody had to stand up and say their major and what was their goal. And, you know, okay, if that don't work, then what's plan B? And for me, people looked at me crazy, and I said, I don't have a plan B. My goal was to make it to the NBA, and that's what I'm going to do. And I didn't have a plan B. So for you, is there a plan B? Is this, it has to work, you know, what is it for you?
You know, I think, you know, truthfully, I want to positively impact as many people as possible. So, you know, this is my plan right now, and this is all I'm going to be focused on for the foreseeable future. I tell everybody it's, you know, 50% market share or bust. When we get to 50%, you know, I'll have to figure out what my next plan is. But whatever I do in life, it's going to be based upon helping whoever these people are in whatever walk of life be better. Like that. Right. That's what my focus is. So I don't know what that is, but right now there's only one thing that I'm going to focus on, and literally I'm not going to stop until it happens. It's 50% market share or nothing. So that's my goal, and that's what I'm going to stick with.
I can guarantee you're going to be all in.
Yeah,
until we get that 50% market share.
Yeah, and I have no doubt that whoever listens to this is going to be better as a result of what they heard. So thank you again for joining us and for sharing your story.
Thank you guys for having me. It was great
Stuff.